today's lesson is about multiplying monomials by polynomials. So these are words that we've kind of talked about, but not a whole lot. Monomial is an algebraic expression consisting of one term, not terms. So any mixture of numbers and variables. So like 5x squared y would be a monomial. Even though there's two variables, we don't have a plus or minus in there. That's a monomial. Binomial, see the bi represents 2. Bicycle, you have 2. So binomial has 2 terms. So we could say 5x minus 6. That is a binomial. There's 2 terms separated by a minus. Or it could be a plus. Trinomial, so tricycle, has 3 wheels. So it's 3 terms for a trinomial. So I could say negative x squared plus 2x plus 3. That is a trinomial. So it has 1, 2, 3 terms. Polynomial is an algebraic expression consisting of any number of terms. So it could be 2 terms, it could be 5 terms, it could be 6 terms, it could be 3. So polynomial is just kind of like a general definition of algebraic expressions. All right, so we have these examples. We have a little bit of a review on multiplying polynomials, or monomials. So if I have b times b, that becomes b squared. If I have 5x squared times 2x squared, this was like y'all's warm-up, you multiply the numbers. 5 times 2. Then you add your exponents. So that would be x squared and x to the first. We would add those. So that's x to the third power. Five y cubed times 7. You multiply your numbers. So 5 times 7. And then you look for like variables. We only have a y cubed, so it just says y cubed. Eight n times 8n. Multiply 8 times 8. And then how many n's? N to the what power now? Squared, because we have a first power and a first power, which make it squared. All right, go ahead and open up your notes. When multiplying polynomials, you multiply coefficients and add the exponents. So look at example 1. Notice that we have the parentheses. Outside the parentheses, we have that 2z. So all we're doing is distributing. We learned distributive property at the very beginning of the year. But now the only thing that's different is we might have a variable out here with it. So that's why we reviewed those exponent rules. So we're going to multiply 2z times everything inside the parentheses. Distribute. That's what we're doing. Okay, so 2z times z. If you want to write it out instead of doing it in your head, you can. On the first one, I'm going to do that. 2z times z and then 2z times negative 4. So I'm going to put plus 2z times a negative 4. I put the negative 4 in parentheses. So we're multiplying 2z times everything inside. Then we simplify it. So 2z times z is 2z squared. And then 2z times negative 4. Remember what we do with our numbers, the big numbers? The coefficients. 2 times a negative 4. It's a negative 8. So I'm going to put minus 8z. I could have put plus a negative 8, but that plus isn't needed. So then we just look and see, can we combine anything? And no, we can't. So we're done. Okay, let's go ahead and look at example 2. We have an m outside, so we're going to distribute that m to everything inside. I'm not going to write this step every time. I just wanted y'all to see where I got this from. So instead, I'm going to be like, okay, what is m times m? It's m squared. What's m times negative 6? Just negative 6m. You want to put the number in front of the variable. So all we did was add exponents here. M first makes m squared. And then m times negative 6, we just put them right next to each other. All right, this one looks a little different. Look at how many terms are on the inside. There's 3, so that's a trinomial. So it's a monomial times a trinomial. But you're still doing the same thing, but instead of having just 2 arrows, we have 3 arrows. So you multiply your coefficients. Negative 5 times 2. And then x times x squared. So that's x to the first power and x to the second, which makes that x to the third power. Remember, we're adding exponents when we multiply. All right, so we did the first term. Now we need to do the second term. So negative 5x times 2x. Negative 5 times 2. Negative 10. And then x times x. We're increasing our x's by just 1. So now we have an x squared. We can't combine these because remember they don't have the exact same variable and exponent. All right, the last term would be negative 5x times 4, negative 4. Negative times a negative is going to become positive. Negative 5 times negative 4 is positive 20, and we have x. All right, go ahead and do the next one on your own. Okay, so let's see how you did. 3s times s squared. So you still have the 3. Now you add your s's. This would be the first power. So now a first power and a second power make a third power. 3s cubed. 3 times a negative 2, negative 6. And then s times s, s squared. And then 3s times 7. 3 times 7 is 21. And then it just has the s on there. How'd you do on it? Thumbs up, sideways, or down? Y'all respond. Okay, good. All right, we just have a few more examples. Example 5. Devonte is making a wood box for a project in woodshop. The base of the box has a width of x inches and the length of x plus 5 inches. What polynomial represents the area of the base of the box? So let's draw it. It says width of x and length of x plus 5. This is asking for area. How do you find area of a rectangle? Because this is a length times width. Good. Could I also say width times length? Does it matter order for multiplication? It doesn't. So we're multiplying these two. But which one needs parentheses around it? Yeah, we need to add the parentheses around that. So area equals x times x plus 5. So what are we going to distribute? Yep, x to the x and the 5. Good. X times x, x squared. X times 5, 5x, yeah. You don't want to put x5 because that's not proper. So you always put the number up front. So area equals, and then put your box around it. All right, let's go to example 6. 2x minus 3 parentheses 5x minus 8. What are we needing to distribute? -3 only, because it's in front. Only that. I am going to carry down the 2x though. Just carry it down because the 2x can't be combined with anything right now, so we're just going to leave it. Now go ahead and distribute. -3. There we go. Multiply. All right, so -3 times 5x would be -15x. Or minus 15x. What about -3 times a -8? Yeah, positive 24. So don't forget, even though this says -8, if I were to cover it up, that's a -8. You can use those interchangeably. So if there's a number in front, it's -8. If there's not a number, because we're just multiplying times it, it's a -8. All right, last step would be to make sure everything's simplified. Is there anything I can combine? Yeah, these x's. So I'm going to leave the x off and put it in my calculator. 2 minus 15. Yep, -13 x. And then just carry down the plus 24. All right, last one. Go ahead and distribute. So we're going to do negative 10 times 8y. That's negative 80y. Negative 10 times a negative 9. Negative times negative make positive 90. Keep your y. And then negative 10 times a negative 9. It's a positive 90. And then just carry down the negative 7y. Make sure you don't distribute outside the parentheses. You keep it within the parentheses. Then the last step is to combine your like terms. So I'm going to start with my y's. So I do negative 80 plus 90 minus 7. It's a 3. And I still have the y with it. So be careful that you know where the y is going. Because I'm dealing only with y's, I make sure I put that y in there. And then just carry down the plus 90. You'll glue this in, and you will work on that 5-question worksheet. Everyone's turning it in at the end of class, whether you're done or not. This is one of the assignments that if you don't finish, you can come before school or after school to finish it.